of Shadow Smile. They're an alt rock metal band from Sheffield, which we just established is very near me. I'm in Barnsley, so hi guys, how are you doing?
Hey, good.
Yeah, pretty good. Just finished off working from home, so been a bit of a hectic day, but yeah, generally feeling quite good, feeling really productive with the band and whatnot. So.
Going back to your roots as to why you became musicians in the first place, what does music mean to you guys, Connor, as a singer, as a frontman? Why did you decide that, music was for you? What happened?
I think like everybody says the same thing with this, but I think it's kind of, if you're that way inclined, there's not really any option. You kind of have to do it. And, if you, like, I'm big into all the creative process, probably even more than I am in the performing. So just that ability to be creative and connect with people. I think a lot of musicians aren't necessarily the best at talking to people in person, but we can communicate through our songs and stuff. So that's probably a big part of it. And I think, performing live is part of that, but also the whole creative process is a massive thing for, I think, all of our lives. So I think that's where it comes from for me.
Ciaran, for you as a guitarist,
Yes.
Music for you, where did that come from? Do you remember the first time you picked up a guitar and how that made you feel?
Yeah, I got my first 3/4 size guitar when I was about 3 for my birthday once, and I was trying to like bash away. And I wasn't heavily like into Johnny Cash when I first started out, as like a little kid, just through what my parents listened to.
Nice.
And then my dad introduced me to like Guns N' Roses and started getting heavier. Then when I was like 7, I started taking it seriously and learning from books and stuff like that, and just learning a lot by ear as well, because that's how I get by, because I didn't have private tuition until my early teens. So but yeah, I just see it as a way of being able to express myself and escapism as well. And like what I like about our band and music now and currently is the family vibe that we have with it. Doing things together and doing things as a band, it feels like a good, like I say, a family vibe. It's just nice. And so if there's ever like troubles or things going off in life, it's always good to have band to be able to just think, well, yeah, you've got band.
Yeah, the band of brothers that get you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you formed in 2019, didn't you? And speaking about that situation with like your friends and people that you relate to, did you all instantaneously click when you got that lineup that you've got now? Was that a situation where you all came together and you're all like, yeah, this works, this is the lineup, this is going to be cool?
Yeah, it just sort of works, and I can't really explain it that well, but it just kind of clicked, and we all get on really well. We have good banter. We take the mick out of each other a lot, but we all we work together really well, and it just gels really naturally. I think we got originally it was just me, Ciaran, and the drummer Joe, and we got on really well straight away. But then Ethan joined as well, and it's just all kind of just clicked really, really seamlessly, to be honest.
Last year, you guys were going to embark on your first tour of the UK, and obviously the pandemic got in the way of that. So to combat that situation, what have you guys been up to aside from the release that we'll also get talking about in a second? As a band, have you been productive together in other ways?
Go on, Ciaran, I'll let
you. We've been constantly just sending ideas back and forth, writing new songs or doing like behind the scene cuts or edits and stuff like that, and just stuff trying to keep busy and show that one thing we like to do is just show our like actual human side, that we are still human even though we're always busy and all that kind of stuff. So it's something for the fans to relate to and kind of watch along the way and keep people interested, really. And I think a lot of it to keep us sane, actually keep us doing something. And I think just touching on like getting back out there and whatnot, it's, for me, it's always been the reward of playing to the fans and playing to people, that the effort that you put in the studio times and the music videos, that is a final reward. So to be able to go back out and do that, it's going to be really good.
What would you think people should expect to see from you guys from Shadow Smile live?
Well, really, it's like, we don't just put on a gig. That's what we always say. We don't just turn up and play. We like to put on a full show. So we'll have like a full stage setup, and we like to bring the atmosphere to the audience, and so we don't have to rely on them to build the atmosphere. So our intention is, come to our gig, you're instantly going to have a good time, kind of thing. And I think relating to what we just said about how we get on so well on stage, we know we can trust each other, and we know we're well rehearsed and all that kind of stuff. So that instantly makes our energy levels go, through the roof, and we just want to put on the best show we can, really. So
yeah. No, I think that's pretty cool. I think people are going to be raring to go once we're out this pandemic, and yeah, I think it's going to be great. But what about when you go out onto a stage again after all this time away from the live scene? What's going to go through your heads? Are you going to be thinking about your set list? Are you going to be thinking about the audience and their reactions? Connor, do you need to be remembering your lyrics? Like, what's going to be the situation?
Don't learn them, just say anything. We've got I know everyone says this, but we've kind of got a really good connection with our fans that we've built up over the years, about 2 years. And it's more just sort of that connection being in person. That's going to be really nice, and it's going to feel a lot more sociable. And yeah, I don't think any of us are nervous about it. We're all just ready for it, and just sort of, it's time.
Process during lockdown, and we'll talk about your new single Nameless very soon, but how have you guys been getting on through, I guess, technology when you can't meet up and things like that?
It started off just like me writing demos or certain sections and sending it across, and then having numerous Zoom meetings or Skype calls, whatever, just trying to discuss things. And really it's just not like a trial and error kind of thing, but seeing what would work best for us to get the most out of lockdown possible, really. So whether that be, like we at the very start we did a live stream gig in a full venue setting, which we all thought were really cool, and I think that did help us a lot. Get out to new people as well, just through doing something different. But yeah, the creative side of things, it was really weird because a lot of the time before lockdown we'd be writing together in a room. So personally, I like writing closer first just to myself, and then seeing what the guys think of it, because I don't like rushing parts. So if you feel like, I've only got 2 hours left in the room and whatever, then you kind of feel like you might start rushing. But me personally, I think it's been really good, a bit of a blessing in disguise, I always say when people ask about it, because it's just allowed us to have time to rethink about our identity as a band and where we want to go with that, and then we've been able to adapt that into the new stuff that we write. So
from that, you kind of put a bit of a positive spin on the whole lockdown process. Is there anything in particular that you are going to take away from this time that you're going to probably utilize going forward, even after we're out of this situation? For either of you, have you taken anything away from it that you go, oh, actually I wasn't doing this beforehand, I think I'm going to do this more?
I think, to be honest, we've been putting our best stuff together that we've ever done in lockdown. I mean, we were only together a few months before lockdown, to be fair.
Yeah.
But we grew, and what we learned is that we needed to evaluate everything, and it helped us to really take the time to shape our identity and to think about what we wanted to write, as opposed to just, okay, we've written these songs. It was everything became a lot more meticulous, and we just became a lot more cognizant of what the band was going to be and what we wanted it to be. Yeah, I think it's been, apart from the horrible circumstances, it's been pretty positive for the band, really.
Yeah. No, I love hearing that, and it's horrible to think that music venues and music in general and bands have been hindered by the pandemic, but to hear that you guys have like you say, taken something quite cool away from it is great for you guys as a band and for music in general. And it's really nice to see, from my perspective, because I'm just a music fan myself, really, and to know that there's bands out there that are still doing their thing and they're getting new releases out and they're going to be performing live hopefully very soon is pretty cool.
It's all to escape, like 70 things are going up to pretend that you're out of frame. I think it's swallow lies as your compassion dies, 'cause it's your own fault anyway.
We're talking about your new music. Your new single landed on the 21st of May. And I absolutely love the story behind the themes and the writing process for this. Connor, do you want to talk us through the whole Los Angeles situation with extreme poverty to extreme, well, like what happened with that song, and why did you feel that was an important theme to write about for you personally?
Well, what it was, I mean, I've been to LA a couple of times, and it's one of my favourite places to go. But I was watching a documentary on Netflix. It's the disappearance of the Hotel Cecil or Cecil Hotel, about the Eliza Land disappearance. And what I noticed was that, all the people in this documentary were kind of talking about the homeless people as though they weren't people. And it was like really quite alarming for me. And I was thinking, like, Hollywood is so about glitz and glamour, and there's all this money there, but then these people who are really at the bottom end are really treated as though they're a massive inconvenience and almost like vermin by a lot of people, which, and we see homelessness everywhere, and it's real, it's a bit of a pull on the heartstrings when you see people. And I don't know, it was just quite impactful. So I thought the lyrics just really flowed with that. It was just like, it just came out. There was no kind of long drawn out writing process. I was like, I did them and then I sent them to the guys and everyone was like, yeah, they're cool. And then it fit with the song as well, where we got it all together, and it just like, yeah, I think it was a pretty cool way it came together, really.
No, I think it's a really powerful thing to write about. I think, like when it comes to writing, is it important for you guys that you have freedom within that creative process, both musically and lyrically, from that perspective? Is that really important to you guys as a band? Is that an ethos that you just write honestly about things that have affected you, or, things that are happening around you that you see maybe even from TV and things like that?
I'd say, yeah. Oh, go on, Connor, if you want to finish that. Wait.
No, go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, because I think...
my lyrics.
I just think generally from a musical standpoint, because obviously, like, you've got to do it for yourself as well. You've got to feel what you're writing and putting out as much as what other people have got to relate to as well. So I think if you have that relationship between yourself and the music, you're going to put out better quality as well, because you feel it more. That's my input on that.
This track in particular, not only are the themes pretty, heavy, but in a good way, because you're, making sure that you, I guess, publicize some issues in society, I guess, at this point. But your musical style and genre has changed from previous releases, and I love that. I mean, I heard the sound, it's so like heavy and dark, and it's just so different to what you put out before. So that evolution in your sound, was that like talked about beforehand? Does that happen naturally? Why did you guys end up going down a little bit of a different route in your music?
It's all about it kind of came about in the first lockdown, because we were just, as I said before, we were just writing songs and just putting out whatever we felt worked. But then we just really assessed where we wanted to be and what we were listening to at the time, and it just really kind of came together quite organically, really. After that, once we kind of pinpointed what we wanted to do, it just kind of did it almost on its own. It was kind of like, okay, I've written this and this, and it was like we all just seemed to be on the same page with it. And we still got a little varied influences, but they kind of come together to make this sound, and it seems to be really working. So
I think it definitely is. I mean, I played the track on my show this weekend, and I thought it went down so well. It was so cool. I loved it when I first heard it. But what can we expect to see from you guys going forward now? What have you got in the works aside from the Bloodstock Metal to Masses show? What else have we got going on, Ciaran, do you think?
We've always got something going on. Yeah, I mean, every month we're, with our producer in the studio, recording new stuff, writing new stuff, keeping busy doing that. Like I said before, filming behind the scenes stuff, and always doing shoots in some form, shape or form. But yeah, big announcements coming soon. Like Connor said, we've got to keep fingers on the lips for the meantime. But yeah, it's things are looking really good, and I think, like I said, once we can get back out gigging as well, it's gonna be great.
Right, a bit of a random question to kind of finish off. I've got a couple more questions for you. I ask everybody this one, so don't hate me for it if I put you on the spot. But have you got a motto, a saying, or a quote that you like to live your life by? Does anything stand out?
We kind of got this little tagline. We've got a couple. We used to say, because the whole concept used to be, when we first started as a cult, we used to say, join us, which was like join the Shadow Smart cult kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the one at the minute is we kind of try and be a voice for the voiceless. So like all our songs are kind of like, people that feel that they don't have a voice in society, or anyone's listening to them. So yeah, voice for the voiceless. I think that's our kind of motto.
I love that. And on a final note, guys, because it's been lovely chatting, have you got a message that you would like to send out to those lovely audience members and fans that you keep talking about? Have you got anything that you want to let them know or say to them?
We just blow kisses at them, wouldn't it?
Blow kisses.
Can't wait to see what they think of the next load of music we do. Can't wait to see them in person live. Yeah, thank you for all the support and all the love.
Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me, and Connor for showing us around your office there, just showing us around as you're walking around all the different rooms. Yeah, I really appreciate your time, and best of luck with the Bloodstock Metal to Masses gig and everything that you've got going on. Hopefully I catch you on the road sometime soon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.